and welcome to episode 55 of the What If South is Up podcast, where we dive into the arts of world building and storytelling with a what if lens. Together, we explore, dissect, and expand the speculative and fantasy worlds of our own making. Blending a bit of wisdom and a dash of whimsy, we aim to spark creativity for ourselves and for you. Get ready to reimagine and dig deeper as we journey from what if to what's possible. In other words, how to wing it like an author. My name is Derek Hall, creator of the world of Ketra and the Crimson Prophecy series. My world building challenge is as it always is, and that's finding time to actually build things. But with me today is my ever lovely co-host, Christina Xtina Lefebvre.
Hello. My made-up world is also my first. It's called Cobb, a magical parallel Earth where colonization never happened in the Americas. I'm still an aspiring author and yet unpublished. As for my latest world-building challenge, I've been trying to decide if I want to introduce comic books into my world.
Like in the
Yeah.
story?
Yep.
Hmm.
Well, according to the Googles, the first comic book was actually technically introduced in 1842.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
So, I don't know.
I don't see why it would be out of place. I'm assuming you have some sort of mechanized printing.
Yeah, sure. They have books. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's the biggest barrier to it.
Well, there's also the perception of, people in the world deciding it's too modern. But my world has a mix of modern and not modern, all mushed together. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Could be fun. Are we talking, what, Batman or...
You know what? It just gave me an idea. Ooh, and I got to write this down in my little note thing. Ooh.
nondescript echolocating mammal man?
Well, comic book does not necessarily mean superhero.
I know.
So, um, real quick, I am going to put in here super and in. Sorry, folks. I'm sure you'll fix this. Invents. Okay. Okay. So, let's see. What's next? Oh, to kick things off, and before to kick things off, and before we see which what if question Chance brings up, let's do a potion / elixir check. Mr. Hall, what are you drinking today, and what's going on in your real world?
Oh, goodness. My real world is a steaming pile. I have way too much going on.
Yeah.
Lots of very uninteresting drama going on in my life right now. But as for the drinks make everything better, right?
Yep.
Something that I'm calling Prasa Pop, which is named after one of the cities in my world, and it's basically just rum and Sprite.
Ooh, I like that. It's named after a city in your world. I like that.
What do you have?
I have, I'm calling it Strawberry Dreams Martini. Little known fact, strawberries do grow wild in Alaska. Well, that's Alaska to all the earthlings around here.
They do
and
indeed.
What's going on in my world is snow is gone. It's still cold outside.
For now.
But now, it's time to get busy trying to get my house and myself ready to move to New Mexico.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you how those plans were going.
Well, I am adamant that I will not spend another winter in New England. So I have until August, September, and I'd like to be out of here by June, but we'll see how it goes.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it is supposed to snow tonight and all day tomorrow here.
It does not make me feel better, and we had spits of snow this weekend, so I'm just so tired of it. But at least there's no snow piles. There's no snow piles outside my door anymore. So,
Yeah, that's fair. There's still little bits in my yard in the shade, but it's mostly gone. I fired up the grill for the first time yesterday.
oh, nice. What'd you have?
So, brats, and I did some shrimp.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you mean prawn? It's prawns, the big ones, right?
No, 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 no. Like just normal, like cocktail shrimp.
Oh, wow.
But I just season them up and throw them on the grill. So my grill it's half grill and then it has a griddle on one side,
Oh,
so I can throw them
nice.
on the flat top and just kind of let them season in. They're tasty.
Oh, yes, they are.
Make
Yes.
fantastic tacos.
Of course, my husband would have gone to the hospital, but yes, very good.
That's not my problem.
Nope. So we can't eat off of your grill.
I'll clean it. I need to clean it anyways. But if you end up out here, I'll clean it before I cook anything.
Oh, I'm special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't clean it for anybody else, but yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, with elixirs in hand, let's talk worldsmithing. What breakthroughs, techniques, or tips have sparked new life into your world building story or lore?
So, I reread Hooked by Les Edgerton, which is basically a whole book on how to start your story, how to start your book.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent really a lot of hours um, applying it to my opening. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, building a world is one thing, how you want to introduce it is something else entirely.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's easier if the world you're introducing is already defined. So, for instance, urban fantasy, right? That's real world stuff. You don't
Yep.
have to, and you don't have to explain that there's one sun, and you don't have to explain, that north is up, and you don't have to explain, everyone has 10 fingers. That's makes it relatively easy. Even a lot of types of fantasy that's based off of um, medieval times. It tends to be easier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, so with my concept, I have a lot of people confused when they start reading, which is fine. But trying to decide how I want to start it has been tasking. Has been difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so if I wanted to give a little bit of advice to everybody out there, one thing when I first read this book, when I first read Hooked, I had just started writing my book,
Right.
and the book Hooked made a lot of sense. You know, um, it what's the word I want to use? I got something from it, but now that I have a really deep understanding of my characters, my theme, and my world, going back through this, wow, it was pretty intense, and it meant so much more. Um, and I understood some of the concepts that I thought I understood before so much more now. So my advice is anyone that is having a difficult time finding out how to start your story, really take the time to um, know first of all, really understand your world. Like if you were on the show, could you answer all the questions easily? That kind of knowing your world.
Yeah.
um, Knowing the theme, what's basically going on in your story, not the plot, but the theme, and know your protagonist, your primary protagonist, or your introductory protagonist inside and out, and then read the book, and it will definitely help you get a new opening.
Absolutely. That's actually a book that I consulted quite a bit on one of my recent editing jobs,
Yeah.
just to refresh my brain so that I could actually give useful advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good, and if, like you said, if you're struggling with the beginning, definitely check that out. It's worth the time.
Right. It's not going to tell you how to start your world. It's going to tell you how to introduce the world you know.
Yeah.
So you have to know your world.
Yep. So basically what I picked up from that book is that it's teaching you how to work with what you have
Hmm.
in order to present that information to someone else in a way that's going to keep their attention.
Yes, so it's definitely a book about how to hook the reader immediately and keep them,
Yep.
keep them
Exactly.
curious and
And
engaged.
that's what it is, and it is very useful.
Yep.
That's where a lot of people struggle, but if the hook isn't there, you're going to get a lot of DNFs. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yep, I completely agree.
But also, understanding the beginning of your story really can help you with the ending too. So,
Mhm. Yes, it can.
what about you? What world smithing have you been doing, or breakthroughs, or
I've been smithing real life. Um trying to. It's I've gotten burned a few times. Um Life has been difficult lately. Life challenges, work challenges, parenting challenges, and writing challenges, though I haven't really had time to work on my projects much, if at all. And too many of them stand largely ignored at this point, just because I haven't had the brain power or time to get at them. But honestly, in absence of writing progress, I'm just gonna say that this is my tip. Don't worry about it. Life happens, blocks happen, scheduling conflicts happen, stress, moods, and anxiety happen. Don't sweat it. You'll
good?
get to the project eventually.
Yep.
So, I'm a firm believer in if something is important, you will make time, but sometimes you just can't. And
Hmm.
it happens to everybody. So,
I am also a firm believer that sometimes the universe is telling you it's not time yet. And when
exactly.
the time is right, the universe will open up.
Yep. The last year or so, my writing has absolutely come in spurts. I'll have a month where I put down 60K and then not be able to write for a month or two. And that's fine. Like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter. I mean, granted, I've been doing other things. I've been editing. I've been helping other people doing, betas and arcs and all that kind of stuff. But I haven't been able to write.
Hmm.
And it's annoying, but I've kind of brought myself to a point where I've learned to take it as it comes. And sometimes it'll come out, 30K in a week. And sometimes it will come out 5 words a month. It's fine.
Yep, it's fine.
Yep. Don't sweat it.
There's other things to sweat about. This ain't one of them.
No kidding.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. As world builders, it's essential to keep our creative skills sharp by exploring other realms and stories. Since our last episode, which world have you been visiting, and through which portal did you enter, dear Derek? And most importantly, what did you take away from it?
um, I, in my poor judgment, decided to revisit a movie that quite literally drove me to drink when I saw it in the theater,
Ooh.
to the point that the bartender, who is a longtime friend of mine, asked me if I should be drinking. So apparently, I was not in a good way when I walked in that bar. Um,
Mm.
the effect wasn't quite as harsh the second time, but it'll be a year or two before I watch it again, if I watch it again. But the emotional sledgehammer in question is called The Creator and is a sci fi take on the development and repercussions of AI. It's bold, it's dark, it's creatively beautiful from a filmmaking standpoint, but it is not for the faint of heart. It's very heavy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I enjoyed it more the second time. The first time, it was not even remotely what I was expecting and hit super hard, but I knew it was coming this time, so it wasn't nearly as bad. But yeah, it's definitely interesting and surprisingly relevant at the moment.
Well, it is, but I'm curious too on. Well, I'm curious about two things. The first is, um, why did you watch it again? And the second is, as a writer, what could you take away from it for your stories?
Um, Honestly, I think the strong point of it, as far as taking something away, the strong point of it had to do with almost immediately creating an emotional attachment to just about every character.
Hmm.
It's extremely well done. It is based on a book. I don't remember the name of the book or who wrote it at the moment, but it is based on a book. Um, but yeah, there's almost an immediate connection to a lot of the characters, and it doesn't feel like they had to push for it. It just kind of happened. And it feels very natural. It flows very naturally. And that's what I want with my characters. I want people to just kind of fall into step with them and go on this journey and not have to think about getting to know a character. And that's kind of what this did. But as far as why I watched it again, I don't know. I think I was curious because I remember thinking it was really good, just being really, really heavy and unexpected. Um, but I don't know. I couldn't sleep and I was in a weird mood and just decided to stab myself emotionally for no reason.
Well, there is something that something I tell my BFFs. When we're feeling sad or feeling a bit of the ennui,
Hmm.
I tell them it's time to watch a sad movie. Pick a sad movie, watch a sad movie, and cry, and it's so cathartic. You know, even
Yeah.
so, the idea isn't just because you're sad you should watch a happy movie. No, dig down deep into that.
Hmm.
If you're feeling this feeling, don't ignore it. Dive deep and let it come out.
Yeah.
So,
Dig into something that's more relatable to your current headspace.
not where you want to be. We don't always need to want to be somewhere else. we
Yeah,
we can take a moment to be where we are.
this is true and valuable life advice.
Hmm.
Confront the feelings, don't bury them.
Yeah. So as far as me, um
Yeah, that. Hmm.
that well, I've been listening to a nonfiction book that's pretty heavy.
Hmm.
um but so I really haven't spent a lot of time reading, but I started rewatching Lost Girl. Do you ever watch that TV series?
No, no, I didn't.
It's a CW, and I think
Hmm.
it's from the, it might even be from, God, it might be 20 years old now. I don't know. Um, and it is a story of a succubus, um, in modern world. It's modern urban fantasy. Um, and it's just, deep dive into Fae mythology.
Hmm.
Uh, and like you, what I like most about this is the characters.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you probably know, there's some, um especially sci-fi and fantasy movies, or excuse me, series, where where there's an episode where there's some body switching going on.
Hmm.
So one actor will have to act like another character and not their character.
Oh, yeah.
And you can really tell when a character is well developed when an actor can act like that character and it's believable. I don't know if I'm making sense when I'm saying that.
No, that makes complete sense. I mean, the classic Freaky Friday trope is not easy to pull off.
No, it's not. And it's only and if the characters are well developed,
Mm-hmm.
you can pull it off well. If you're relying just on the actors, it's not going to be as believable. But so the last episode I watched was a Freaky Friday kind of situation,
Yeah.
and it's just hilarious because as soon as because this in this one episode, the bodies kept changing, but as soon as that person spoke, you knew who the character was,
Yeah.
and that was fantastic. So that's great writing.
Yep. Differentiate thought patterns and speech patterns and physical oddities
Yes,
enough that you can switch your characters around and everybody still knows who's who. Yeah.
and
It's
it's also how that character sees a situation, right?
mhm.
So a police detective and um, a teenage girl are both going to see the same situation differently, and
Yeah.
so having the characters reflect that in their dialogue,
Just had
that
an
was
image of a grizzled detective been on the force for 30 years or whatever jumping on top of a cop car and screaming, "Yeah, there's blood everywhere." Um
exactly.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, that'd be so much fun to act. Sorry. And then freaking prom queen just marching into the middle of it, not caring at all.
With
Being
pulling a
like,
gun out.
yep, he's dead.
Exactly. If it
Yep.
so it it really helps as a writer when you're watching something like that is
Mm-hmm.
to how to define your character.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, it's time for Worldsmith Darlings. Each of us will share a few words that paint a vivid picture of another world. It could be a passage from another author that we admire, or perhaps one that missed the mark, or something we wrote. These might be snippets we're proud of, or dead darlings that didn't make the cut. Are you ready to dive into some world building wins and woes?
Sure.
What do you have for
And
us?
this is mine. Um Mother had been standing next to their mobile igloo. Anisha always thought it looked like what would happen if the ghost of a giant mushroom had a crab's baby. Their home had a transparent dome where a mushroom cap would be, and six articulated crab like legs for scrambling over snow, boulders, or bushes. This one, big enough to house two bedrooms, a kitchen, and father's lab, had been the only home she ever knew. A traveling home was very convenient when one's father was as good a geomancer as father was.
Very cool. Very vividly painting a picture there.
Good.
Yeah, I like it.
That's what we hope to do.
Hmm.
And what do
Absolutely.
you have?
This is something that is not mine, but that I can relate to rather personally. Um, I felt like a skin full of dry bones, and all of them were trying to ache at once. Which is not so much a world thing, but very much a character thing.
Yes.
And that comes from Mark Twain in Life on the Mississippi.
And I'd argue that it does have a sense of a world kind of thing.
It does. Well, especially, I mean, there's a whole lot of context missing to that. But
Mm-hmm.
um, if you've ever read Life on the Mississippi, it is a memoir, it is an autobiography, it is his life when he was a riverboat pilot and going out to Nevada as a newspaper man and all of that kind of thing. But yes, this is talking about when he was first working as a deckhand on the riverboats. So what they would do is they would float down the river from Ohio or wherever with a load of whatever, corn or wheat or whatever they had. And when they got to either Natchez or New Orleans, one of the two, they would take the boats apart because they were just drift boats. They didn't have steam engines just yet. They would take the boats apart, sell the timber, and then walk back. And this is on one of those walks back to Ohio from
Wow.
Mississippi.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's I can relate. I grew up in that neighborhood. I know that history really well. But yeah, dry bones all aching at once relates to my life most of the time.
Oh, just
Yep.
recently.
No, most of the time.
Uh,
Most of the time. Don't get old. It
and
sucks.
yeah, aging is not for the young. I mean, not for, aging is is not for the faint of heart, is what they say.
Aging
But I was
is
trying
not
to
for
think.
the young. I love that.
It's not. Too bad you have to do it. All right,
Hmm.
now it's time for the main event and our favorite game, World Builders Roulette. Each week, I should say, each episode, we place the fate of our worlds in the hands of the D20, letting it choose from our list of wild, speculative, and magical scenarios. Will this week's roll transform our worlds or inspire an entirely new one? Only the dice know, so let's see where they'll lead us today.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Number one. It's an unfortunate roll. What if all enchanted swords and weapons had diva-like personalities and refused to work without proper flattery and praise?
I love this one.
I do too, honestly.
This is fabulous. Okay. Uh, what if enchanted? What if all enchanted swords and weapons had diva-like personalities and refused to work without proper flattery and praise? Oh, that's adorable. Is that the first time we've had a one? No, we've had one before, several times.
Yeah, we've had a few.
Um. All right.
Yeah, I only see one more.
There's two. There was three times we've had a one.
Hmm.
Counting today. One, two, three. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
if you look at all those numbers, they average pretty high. So,
They do. Yep.
like 12 and above is average.
Right.
I love that set of dice. Anyways, don't tell
Big
my
numbers are
DM.
good. Big numbers are good, right?
Yeah, for D&D, not necessarily for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
um, I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is something that I actually did to one of my D&D players once.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him a ridiculously overpowered sword, but he had to sweet talk it and convince it into working every time he wanted to use it, which
Well,
created some extremely comical moments. Um, but yes, this is definitely something that I did to one of my D&D players one time.
I mean, I kind of like this in you're wanting this weapon to do some ugly things,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to treat it nicely first.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make it want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to slow the pacing down in a fight scene. Hold on. Stand there. Wait a
To
minute. I got to talk to my sword. Hold on.
to
Hold on.
great comedic effect. You have any idea how confused the bad guys would be? Go into a formal duel with somebody and they're there just ready to go for it, and you're just like, just a sec. You're such a pretty sword. You're so shiny and smooth. That etching looks great in this light.
Oh, that sounds almost like it's a curse on the wielder, not the weapon, right?
You want to do
So
some
you
work for daddy?
oh god.
So the way I did it with the game, where I did this to one of my players, he's still mad about it, and this was about 5 years ago. But the way I did it is that the previous owner of that sword had been cursed, and when he was killed, his soul inhabited the blade.
Oh.
So the sword is essentially possessed, but the guy that had it was previously the one who was possessing the blade is essentially a genocidal maniac, and the
Huh.
sword could talk into my player's head.
Oh.
So it's constantly egging him on to do really, really bad stuff, and he has to talk the sword out of it. And it kept getting worse and kept getting worse and kept getting worse to the point where like the player would lose physical control and just like randomly kill half a village because the dude in the sword took over. And it was a quest point or like a plot line because it was creating a need for them to find somebody who could break this curse because their bard is going insane and he was already a little bit crazy. But yeah, that's what I did with it. It's a little bit opposite of this. You're not sweet talking it so much as talking it down off a ledge.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so I did it a little bit backwards, but it was actually a lot of fun. And I kind of want to write a story now and
So
play that scenario out again.
the bigger the weapon, does it need more flattery?
More
I mean, can
flattery.
you imagine trying to talk a tank into blowing up a village?
I really need you to do this for me right now.
I'll
There's a
give
dragon
you.
coming and it's angry. Please help.
Oh, oh
I will get you
man.
sharpened, I promise. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. We could do
No,
so much with
okay.
this. This is so much fun. I'm sorry.
No, yes. But how I can see this in my world actually is for tools. So certain tools are enchanted that you need to be able to produce certain things.
Right.
And in order to get it started, it's like I'm thinking of like a chainsaw where you have to rip the cord, you'd have to pull the cord to get the
Mm-hmm.
engine started. So for these tools, they get started with, the praise and the flattery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not as funny.
Had a girlfriend that got started that way too.
Okay.
Um. Sorry. The intrusive thoughts are winning tonight. I'm sorry.
Don't
Um.
be sorry. It's all good.
But yeah, I could see that. Like,
But I like how funny your thing is, but I can't
maybe
fit it
it
into mine.
leans more to specific, like, specialty tools.
Specialty tools.
Um. I don't know. But if they're enchanted, not every tool or weapon is going to be enchanted, more than
Not
likely.
ever exactly,
Some of them are
exactly.
mundane.
Yes.
But if you have a special tool for something, I'm losing my context at the
Cohesion.
moment.
You're
I
losing
can't really,
cohesion.
yeah, I'm losing something, my mind. Um, I can't think of a
I
very
wish
specialized tool at the moment, but you have a trade and you have a very specialized tool that is enchanted and yeah, it requires special treatment. That
okay,
makes a little more sense than, every hoe and
every tool.
shovel,
Yeah. No, no, I
which
hear you, but I just got to tell you, this question makes me want to actually write a fighting scene. I don't want to write a feed. I have no desire to write a fight scene,
there's
but I
so much
would
fun to
share.
write though.
No, 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 they're not.
They
This is
absolutely are.
this coming from the man that reads historical nonfiction books about war for fun. No, no, not
Those
for
are
me.
research.
But this makes me want to write one only for a comedy scene. So
Right.
at least that. So
Yeah.
I love. I also love how this adds. So when we writing our book, when we're writing our worlds, writing our stories, we should add some comedy. There should be some kind of comic relief.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. There has to
and
be.
if this is not what the whole story is about, this adds just enough, you know, to take the edge off of a very difficult situation. And this
Hmm.
gets me thinking about how can I add something so superfluous, so, you know, ridiculous, you know, that it adds just that little bit of, I don't know,
Well,
sugar,
it's kind of
you know?
like the first Harry Potter when he gets his magical beasts textbook and doesn't know how to open it and it tries to eat him.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's a small thing that doesn't really come back around, but it adds a layer to the world and helps with Harry feeling out of place and kind of in over his head. So,
No, I totally agree.
yeah,
And it also added
it's
it
also
took
funny.
a it's also funny. So it took a stressful situation, right?
Hmm.
And it added just that little bit of humor so that we could move the story along.
Yep.
Yes.
And sometimes that's all you need to do.
And sometimes it's what you should do, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that sometimes I worry so much about getting the story straight or making sure that the plot points line up. Maybe sometimes I just need to add a quirk, be funny,
Hmm.
allow it to happen.
So, my philosophy with humor in my books is if it comes to me and I think it's funny, I'm probably going to put it in. I can always cut it out later
Well, yeah,
if it doesn't
but
land.
I sometimes I take myself too seriously, just in general and in life.
Hmm.
Although, I have been challenged. One of my bucket list items is actually do a stand up routine,
Oh, there you go.
and one of my friends called me out on it. And there's an open mic night, and he wants me to to do it. So even though I take myself too seriously sometimes, I think I want to do this. And here's the funny thing. Here's a funny thing, another funny thing. Here's a sideways funny thing. Anyways,
Hmm.
tangential. I told my husband I was going to do this, and he goes, you're funny, but you're not that funny." And I'm like, challenge accepted.
Haters
You
gonna
know,
hate.
I mean, he adores me. Let's be clear. Who wouldn't? But he adores me.
There's a
You
lot of
know.
comedians that people think are hilarious, and I just sit there with a straight face going, "People like this."
Yeah, my husband, him,
It's
his.
it
Yeah,
just it's very much
the comedians he likes, I just don't understand.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. So,
So
anyways, that's on
yeah,
my bucket list.
yep. Some people really like the dry British humor that's more witty and
Hmm.
quick comebacks, and some people like the off the wall, super raunchy American stuff, and some people like something in between. So
And
you
all over
know,
their place. Yep.
yeah, exactly. There's something for everybody, and you don't have to fall into a certain niche. Like,
One of my
just
favorite
be you.
comedian comedians right now. I follow. I think her name's Cassandra. She's on TikTok. She just basically makes fun of the. She just goes on stage and starts talking to the audience, and she makes fun of them. That's
Hmm.
her whole shtick, and I
Yep.
love it. I laugh every single time. So
It's
she
a
doesn't have
roast.
any. Yeah, she doesn't have anything scripted, right?
Yep.
She just goes out there and she just makes fun
Yep.
of the
Quick wit.
audience. Yes, I
Matt
love
Rife
that.
does a lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. He leans to the dirty side, but yes, he does a lot of the same thing, and it's quite funny.
Oh, she's yeah. Yes, I think that's funny. Anyways, getting back to this, I think that well, I can't make this particular thing work in my world. I think that it reminds me that I'm allowed to be ridiculous at times in my story,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
A little
I
bit of
totally appreciate that.
yeah, a little bit of fun never hurts.
Well, I have all these fun ideas, but they're just fun. But something this quirky,
Hmm.
something this yeah, this is great. I
Yeah,
love it.
I think I could. more than likely make it fit somewhere in my story because I do have magical weapons and enchanted weapons and things like that. Um, I actually have an idea having to do with one of my villains that sort of ties into this. I'm not going to give that away
But you
because I've been
can't make
told
a
I
villain
spoil
look
things.
ridiculous. You can't make a villain look ridiculous, though.
Yeah, it's not about making him look ridiculous. It's about making him super dangerous.
I
Um,
mean, what's your Minotaur's name?
Grimoire,
Now, him doing that, having a sword that will only work when he,
that'd be pretty
you
funny.
know, yeah, that would be hilarious.
But then again, he doesn't need a sword. He's a walking battering ram. Um,
You
he
know,
has
even
one,
a,
but
even a tailor needs a needle. I'm just saying.
right. Yeah, yeah, fair, fair. I don't know that I would. I don't think I would do that to him.
I don't think you would either. Nor am I
But
suggesting you take my advice. I'm just saying that this big, huge, monstrous character now has to be dainty and cute. The oxymoronish of it, the I just that's what's funny.
I feel like if I was gonna do this, I would need to build like on the dainty and cute side. I would need to build a character from the ground up around it
Yeah.
to make it work. Like my brain is going like tiny, innocent, cute little anime girl with a giant freaking sword, but she has to sweet talk the sword or something. Um, but yeah, I feel like I would need to build a character from the ground up around it, unless I twisted it a little bit and somehow made it menacing
Okay. So my
instead of
mind just
cute.
went to your little cute little girl.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you call her? And um, this
Anime
this
girl.
anime girl
Yeah.
who has a tiny sword, who only gets big and mean when she sweet talks it. So the more she sweet talks it, the bigger it gets.
Oh boy. Oh, this is something I could definitely fit into the 10 levels world since that's a video game.
Oh, I love it.
I could absolutely work that into 10 levels. But my mainline story, the Crimson Prophecy stories, I think I'd have to twist it a little bit, but I like the concept.
Yeah, I like the concept of me adding more humor
Yeah,
or not being afraid of it, I should say.
humor is good.
Yep. Well, I know it's good, but doesn't mean we what's the I know it's good. Anyways. Okay.
Well,
That
that
was
was fun.
fun.
Are you a world builder crafting your first universe or a seasoned creator with realms under your belt? Whether you be a D&D game master, writer, author, or simply a storyteller, we'd love for all the worldsmiths to join us on the What If South is Up podcast. Reach out on our Facebook page to send us your pitch. We would be honored to make your world the star of an episode or a dozen.
We'd love your help too. Our what if list is always open for new imaginative scenarios. If you've got a unique twist or world shaking idea, send it our way and we'll give you full credit. After all, who wouldn't love a free plug for their made up world? Visit our Facebook page or drop us a line at whysouthisup@gmail.com. We can't wait to see what you dream up.
So, Xtina, how can folks find you on the internet?
Uniquelyexceeded.com is my website, which needs to be updated so badly. But I can also be found on the socials, Facebook, Insta, and TikTok. And I think I'm on Blue Sky now, too. What about you?
Way to branch out. I'm stagnant. My website is DerekHallAuthor.com, but you can also find me as D Hall Author just about anywhere, but not Blue Sky.
But not Blue Sky.
Nope.
Nope.
Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we will catch you next time on What If South is Up.
Thank you. We'd love your help, too. Sorry, excuse me.
Teleprompter break?
No, my throat broke, so I'd start over.
No, fair.
We'd love Quit. We'd love
Why?
your help.